Something strange happened the other day. I was scrolling through charts like I always do, and then I saw it. One song, sitting at the top. But it wasn't just this week or last week. It had been there for a whole year. I froze. Wait, what? 52 consecutive weeks? It's the kind of thing you have to read twice, then once more, because something about it doesn't seem possible. But it's real. And the artist behind this miracle? Jimin. Yes, Jimin from BTS, but this time, it's not about the group. It's about him. And a song called Who. Released on July 19th last year, Who was beautiful, delicate, and haunting from the moment it dropped. But no one could have predicted that it would go on to become the most streamed song in Korean Spotify history. And not just that, it became the only song to stay at #1 on the weekly top songs chart for 52 weeks in a row. Do you understand what that means? That's 365 days. That's 4 whole seasons. That's summer rain and autumn leaves, winter snow and spring blossoms, all soundtracked by one voice. Jimin's voice. A voice that doesn't shout, doesn't force, doesn't demand attention. It invites it. It wraps around your chest like warmth in the cold, and slowly, softly, it asks questions we all keep buried. Who am I to you? Do you still remember me? Am I the echo in your silence? And people heard it, not once, not twice, 68 million times. Who is now the most streamed song ever on Spotify's Korean chart? That's not just a stat. That's the sound of people finding a piece of themselves inside Jimin's music. But here's the thing. This isn't Jimin's first time doing the impossible. Before Who, there was Like Crazy. That track from his debut solo album Face also topped the chart. Not for a few weeks, but for 40 weeks. And when you add the 5 weeks from Angel Part 1, that means Jimin has held the #1 spot on Korean Spotify for a total of 97 weeks with just 3 songs. Think about that. Almost 2 years. 3 songs, top of the chart, unshaken. It's not luck, it's not a trend. It's a story. A story of an artist who wasn't afraid to sing about confusion, about longing, about love that lingers even when it's gone. And that's what makes Who different. Because it's not just a breakup song, it's a mirror. It reflects the parts of us that miss someone, even when we pretend we don't. And yet Jimin doesn't beg. He doesn't cry out. He just wonders. Who are you thinking of now? Was I just a dream to you? Do you still hear my name in the quiet? It's gentle, but it's powerful. So powerful that people couldn't stop listening. Week after week, until it became history. And Jimin's magic doesn't stop there. Right now, he has 6 songs in the top 10 most streamed songs on Korean Spotify. Let that sit for a moment. 6 out of 10. All Jimin. Who else can say that? Who else has that kind of quiet power? That ability to reach hearts not with noise, but with emotion. And when you listen to Who, you feel it. The ache, the doubt, the tenderness, the hope that maybe, just maybe, someone out there is feeling the same way. And that's the real miracle. Jimin didn't just top charts, he touched souls. For 52 weeks, non-stop, and the world noticed. Not just fans, not just ARMY, but listeners who stumbled onto the song on a random night, in a crowded train, under a rainy sky, and suddenly felt seen. That's what Who is. Not just a song, a comfort, a confession, a companion. And after 1 whole year on top, Jimin has proven one thing. You don't need to scream to be heard. Sometimes, the quietest voice carries the deepest meaning. 52 weeks. 1 voice, 1 story, 1 artist.